watching Sudeikis cast in this role, like he looks like he stepped out of an LL Bean catalog. Like it's hard to believe that no one would think that he would have trouble passing for like preppy white bread middle America.
They put him in a hoodie at the beginning, which means he's inherently threatening.
They put him in a hoodie and he had really bad hair in the beginning. Like you need in the beginning, you just wanted to be like, look, I got it. You can be a little long, and we just need to.
Also a telltale sign that he's untrustworthy. Clearly.
Right. I'm trying to think not Steve Buscemi because he's too old, but who would have been somebody who would have been a better cast person because they just look unsavory.
Timothy Oliphant.
Bingo. There you go.
Adam Sandler.
Timothy Oliphant.
I mean, we could have a 20-minute conversation, but Sandler in a movie like this actually would have been good cast.
Justified. Timothy only had his
but he's
hero.
His face is
too good looking.
It is a high concept comedy where the concept is great. It's just that the comedy kind of sucks.
The comedy didn't deliver, and they these comedies.
I thought there were some laughs here.
No, don't get me wrong. I thought it was going to be the high, and I'm third. I didn't hate it either.
I thought you were going to like it. You like Dirty.
Yeah, but it wasn't really dirty.
Yeah,
I mean, it did.
It is though.
No, they say
wimpy
they say
R-rated
fuck 47 times. That's its whole thing.
It's a whole long incest joke.
Yeah, it's an incest joke.
That's one of the few moments that felt like they were really delivering.
An incest joke is really only funny if it's actual incest.
It was funny.
But we know
that kissing scene is hilarious.
That was funny.
That kissing scene is very funny, but you're right. Like, but to the point, like, this could have been a lot raunchier than it actually is, right? Jennifer Aniston is the tamest, most boring stripper of all
bras
time.
on. Another strip joint with bras on, just like the internship. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. And I think it's part of the joke, though, that she's meant to be kind of awkward. Like, she looks amazing. Like, clearly all that yoga on the beach in Malibu is still serving her at age 40,
but all the
whatever,
other strippers wear bras, too, so she doesn't look too ridiculous.
She could totally be a stripper. I
looks awkward,
would pay for a lap dance from Jennifer Aniston. High money. High money.
More than $20.
Who says high money?
More than you would pay for multiple
high money.
But there's no sex in the champagne room.
Right.
We know that.
And like,
oh boy, are we deep in the thick of holiday movie season with a movie that is a glittery package underneath your tree just waiting for you to open it.
Glittery package or lump of coal?
And then take it back to the store. It's The Greatest Showman.
I have a terrible cold. I came in to review this.
Thank you. I can't wait to talk about it with you.
This is shitty enough that now it is making me rethink how much I like La La Land. These songs suck. This movie sucks. I hated this movie.
Here's the thing. I was thinking about that. Like, La La Land, I think, benefits from the fact, people are like, oh, these people, they're not really singing, they're not really dancing. I mean, they are, but they're not doing it in a big sort of Broadway kind of way. And I think that suited the songs really well and made them feel sort of human and like generally coming out of a moment. Yeah. These songs, every single song in this movie sounds like the season finale of American Idol. It is like the like most canned bullshit, like, stuff. Every pop music cliche imaginable. They're all about your dreams, and it's big, and it's
the dancing.
It's glossy and it's empty, but I would say that the songs, which you guys are complaining about, are actually the best part of this movie.
Oh, God help us.
No, it's like the connective tissue stuff in between that doesn't work because they completely sanitize P.T. Barnum, who was an interesting, complicated guy, and who, they portray as...
He's the champion of the outsider because he invented the freak show.
Well, yeah, so you basically just said what I was going to say.
Sorry,
Thanks so much for that. Yeah, no, I mean, but
nice mansplaining.
Thank you for mansplaining Broadway musicals to me. Thank you so much.
I'm gay-splaining.
Thank you for gay-splaining.
I guess gay-splaining's okay, right? Gay-splaining's cool.
I kind of feel like they're going for, but having said that, that Rewrite the Stars song is darn catchy. And that's the only number in which they use, Matt is scowling at me off camera. Matt's making faces at me. That's the only song in which they actually use that circus space in a way that's germane and interesting.
I like the choreography of that number, but I don't like the song.
The song is darn catchy. It's been in my head for 3 weeks. But the thing is, Zac Efron and Zendaya are actually up in the rafters and they're on trapezes and they're on ropes. And that's the only song where they use the space. Every other song, either inside the circus or out on the streets of New York. It's like choreographed the same way. Like they come to you, and they look away, and they look at you again, and they come to you, and like maybe they jet out a leg or something. It's all like in mass.
The only song that I have stuck in my head is that "Dreaming with Your Eyes Wide Open," but it sounds like a car commercial, and it probably will be within like 2 years.
Which one is that one? Is that the? It's
and you're dreaming with your eyes wide open,
and then your leg juts out.
Yeah.
So
About a movie from the legendary action director Walter Hill, starring a great cast, including Sigourney Weaver and Michelle Rodriguez. The movie is The Assignment. Would you like to describe it?
Oh, sure. Okay. So Michelle Rodriguez is a hitman, like a dude, complete with a full frontal sequence with a really bad fake dong hanging down. He runs afoul of Mad Dr. Sigourney Weaver, who, of course, imprisons this hitman and provides forced gender reassignment surgery. And so then the hitman becomes Michelle Rodriguez, like Michelle Rodriguez, and then vows vengeance. And oh God, just take a look. It's just, this movie is inept. I mean, if you're going to see a Walter Hill movie because you want to see these like great shootouts or car chases, they're not good. Like this movie feels cheap and rushed and thrown together. There's these weird sort of like comic booky transition things that were put in post, I guess, to sort of excuse some other stuff going on with it. But this is garbage. And it kills me that all these Walter Hill enthusiasts have been coming out of the woodwork and talking about, oh, The Driver and The Warriors. Like, yeah, those movies were great.
Streets of Fire.
Yeah, Streets of Fire. But
Yeah.
and if this movie weren't so incredibly shitty and controversial, they wouldn't be talking about him now. It's like, where was all this Walter Hill love when Supernova came out or Bullet in the Head? But no, The Assignment, we've suddenly decided that yes, Walter Hill, one of our great auteurs, but this is like the biggest piece of shit he or anyone else has ever made.
It's not fun. Like there are big stretches where you have Sigourney Weaver and Tony Shalhoub as a psychiatrist who is interrogating her in prison, where they like literally sit down and explain themselves, like giant reams, like pages and pages of expository dialogue, where he explains, "Hello, I'm a psychiatrist. I'm going to be interviewing you," and she sits there with a straight jacket on, going, "I was the most brilliant person in my medical school." And like, it's so boring.
And I
so
like a good hammy Sigourney Weaver performance. I don't think it.
So it's 1:30 in the morning at Grand Central Terminal, and Chris Evans is a lovelorn, busking trumpeter.
Busking.
Yeah, he's busking.
He is busking.
I don't know
He
that word.
busks. He plays for money.
Never heard
like
that word?
Once, they're
What's the matter with you?
buskers.
I don't know busking.
They busk. You're playing his trumpet for money in the middle of the night, but it's 1:30 in the morning at Grand Central, so there's nobody there. I appreciate that he knows enough to let people who know what they're doing do what they do, right? This movie is shot in a very pretty
nice.
and glittering way. New York looks very romantic, by moonlight, and they're both gorgeous and they both look great, but they have like zero chemistry with each other. The script is terrible.
The script is bad. It really is bad. There's that you mentioned the one of the great lines, the many great lines in The Office was Steve Carell talking to the camera about what magazines he subscribed to, and one of them was American Way. And he goes, yeah, I know, I get it at whatever, I get it at home. He goes, there's a great something that leads to, because I want to know where Doris Roberts likes to eat when she's in Phoenix. And,
Cheesecake Factory?
Right, there's all great places Doris
That's
Roberts
my
likes.
guess.
Right,
So-
and that bit you just did is better than any single bit in the movie.
I don't think anybody could save this. The script is, these things they say to each other are not, these conversations don't flow in any
They
way.
sound like they're written.
They sound like they're written. They really sound written.
And they try and sell it. You got to give them credit. Like I think that they, Evans especially, like he gives it his all, really trying to make it sound authentic and natural. But God, just the stuff that they say to each other, it's like reading a book sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
They're not interesting at all.
And I think that in trying to sell it, it almost becomes worse because you're right. He does try and he tries to, and he smiles so much, that really lovely Chris Evans smile in this movie, but because he's trying to sort of humanize what is dialogue that doesn't come from human beings, certainly not human beings you want to spend an hour and a half with. So he ends up smiling and charming his way through things. You're like, that's That's not a thing you smile at. This is not a moment of charming here. So it doesn't. I don't think there's any saving it. I don't think Olivier and Branagh save this.
It's Valentine's Day, kinda. It's coming soon. So you know what you get from us? You get a third 50 Shades movie. That's how much we love you. We also love you enough to tell you that this is the last one. There are no more. Woo-hoo! There are no more books. There are no Christian Grey prequels. I hope. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm talking.
I bet there's tons of fanfic.
Anyway,
fanfic based on the fanfic.
The thing is, though, the Christian always knew that Anna thought for herself, right?
Yes.
She's always been
She's been a bossy bottom from the jump.
Right, but he still acts surprised.
Here's the thing about this movie.
Miffed, even.
Miffed.
Pouty. He pouts like a child.
Oh God, does he pout? No, look, I am totally all for people who are not, whose idea of a fantasy is not about like superpowers, to have this fantasy of like insane wealth and like hot sex. But these movies are never hot. I mean, the sex is so boring. Yeah. There is so much like face-to-face missionary in this movie for all the like kink we're promised. And it's, you start with the wedding, which usually in a story like this would be the culmination.
She gets the promotion and she's getting side eye. Like
she gets the promotion at the company that her husband owns.
Well,
let's be clear.
She earned it though.
There's a
totally.
few things that like would come up, and I thought, oh, I wonder if this means something later. And then they never deliver on story potential, like
except for the literal Chekhov's gun.
Well, right, yes, Chekhov's gun. I was so happy. Right, gun shows up. I turn to Christy. I'm like, oh, an actual Chekhov's gun. I was very excited. There's the bit where it turns out like, oh, the book, 200,000 pre-orders. That's amazing. And I thought, well, obviously Christian bought those all, right? But they never.
They're all in a garage somewhere.
There's a scene where there's.
You did good at work today, sweetie. 200,000 books got sold.
Right. Then there's a scene where they have sex on a table, and I'm thinking like. And then the next thing you see is not the rest of the people staying at that house eating at that table and having Christian and Anna look at each other like, right? That would have been great, but oh no.
There is a moment where, again, we never see anything in these movies, but there's an implication that an object has been inserted, and then we see her at work later looking very she does a lot of this, and I thought. Is the object still there, or is she just thinking about when it was there? We don't know.
I think she's still in pain from having had the object inserted inside of her, so that's very soothing tea she is having to help regulate herself again.
I'm just going to point out that this is maybe not the day that I had my mom in studio watching us review a movie.
Yes.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. We talk about wholesome films.
You are the target market for this movie, though. Yes. Your demo is, yes.
Getting a little red.
Who bought the book? Okay, not you personally.
I'll admit that I read all three of the books.
Yes, but out of research, I know.
Totally out of research, yes.
Nationally, we represent.
You guys,
the cool side of the table likes this movie.
Okay, there were things that were wrong. Like can't argue with that. But none of this worked for you.
No, it worked for a while. I liked the first half, and then I just kind of feel like the tone just takes this turn that doesn't quite ever come back from. You can do a bloody, anarchic, dark comedy, certainly, but this movie, it requires a deftness of touch where you never let the violence get so bleak that it sucks out the comedy.
Yeah, well, that was a bit of a deal breaker for me. It's just you say the first half is definitely better than the second half, but and one reason why I probably hung in there with a higher number than you and why is it's incredibly short. Like, I mean,
doesn't feel short.
But like, it's like 80. It's less than
and such small portions.
Under 90 minutes. Oh, but that matters. Like, I mean, I kept thinking, if this had gone an hour 45 or 2 hours, right. I probably would have hated it. But all of a sudden, I was like, hey, look at that, it's over.
Yeah, I'm there with you.